The truth is out. Sophia and Rachel's tragic accident on Christmas Eve. Days of Our Lives spoilers, a creative long-form story. Christmas Eve in Salem was supposed to glow with warmth, forgiveness, and second chances. Snow drifted gently through the town square, catching the light from the oversized Christmas tree as carolers gathered, their voices weaving memories of holidays past. Windows glowed with candlelight. Church bells prepared to ring in midnight mass. It was a night meant for miracles. Instead, it became the night Salem would never forget. For weeks, whispers had echoed through the town. Half-truths, rumors, glances cut short when someone walked into the room. Something terrible had happened to Sophia and Rachel on Christmas Eve, something far darker than the carefully packaged version the authorities released. A tragic accident, they said. Wrong place, wrong time. But Salem knew better. And now, at last, the truth was coming out. Sophia stood in front of the mirror in her small apartment, adjusting the collar of her coat with trembling fingers. Outside, snow tapped softly against the window, the world wrapped in a deceptive calm. Christmas lights reflected back at her, 1,000 tiny stars blinking like promises she wasn't sure she believed in anymore. Rachel sat on the edge of the bed behind her, boots already on, scarf loosely draped around her neck. She watched Sophia in the mirror, her expression a careful mix of excitement and unease. "Relax," Rachel said gently. "It's just dinner. One night. We'll survive." Sophia let out a shaky laugh. "You say that now." Dinner at the Di Mansion was never just dinner. It was a battlefield disguised in fine china and crystal glasses, where old grudges resurfaced and secrets leaked like poison. But this year felt different. There had been invitations extended, olive branches offered. Even EJ had promised peace, for one night, at least. Rachel stood and crossed the room, resting her hands on Sophia's shoulders. "We've been through worse than an awkward holiday dinner." Sophia met her eyes in the mirror. "That's exactly what scares me." Still, they went. Because hope, no matter how fragile, had a way of pulling people forward. Earlier that day, Molina had felt it. She paused in her office at the hospital, her pen hovering above a patient file as a sudden wave of dread washed over her. It was the kind of feeling she had learned to trust, the quiet warning of a storm before the clouds appeared. She looked out the window toward the town square, where Christmas decorations shimmered against the gray sky. "Please," she whispered to no one in particular. "Let me be wrong." Across town, Steve Johnson checked his phone for the third time, his instincts buzzing. A message sat unsent to Kayla, a warning he couldn't quite explain. Something about tonight felt off. Too calm. Too perfect. In Salem, calm was always the prelude to chaos. Sophia and Rachel left the mansion earlier than planned. Dinner had been tense but uneventful, until it wasn't. A careless comment. A look held too long. An old accusation dragged into the open like a corpse no one wanted to acknowledge. Sophia had felt the walls closing in, her chest tightening as voices rose. Rachel squeezed her hand under the table, a silent plea to leave before things exploded. They made their excuses, smiles brittle, hearts pounding. The snow had thickened by the time they pulled onto the road. Streetlights blurred into glowing orbs as flakes came down harder, the world narrowing to the stretch of pavement ahead. "Maybe we should have stayed," Sophia murmured, watching the snow swirl past the windshield. Rachel shook her head. "No. We did the right thing." A gust of wind rocked the car. Then came the headlights. Impact. Witnesses would later describe it as a blur, a scream of tires, metal shrieking against metal, the sound echoing through the quiet night like a gunshot. The car skidded, spinning out of control before slamming into the guardrail near the riverbank. The airbag deployed with a violent snap. Silence followed. Snow continued to fall, indifferent. Sophia came to first, her ears ringing, the taste of blood sharp on her tongue. Pain radiated through her side as she struggled to breathe. "Rachel?" she croaked. No answer. She turned her head and saw Rachel slumped against the door, eyes closed, a thin line of blood trickling down her temple. Panic surged. Sophia fumbled for her phone with shaking hands, vision blurring as tears mixed with snow melt on her face. Her fingers slipped, the screen cracking as it fell to the floor. Headlights appeared in the distance, another car slowing, stopping. Help was coming. But it wouldn't be enough. The official report would say the other driver lost control on the icy road. An unfortunate accident caused by weather conditions. No charges filed. That report was a lie. Because what no one knew, what no one was supposed to know, was that the other car had been following them. Earlier that evening, Rachel had noticed it. The same dark sedan in the rearview mirror, appearing at every turn. She'd brushed it off at first, unwilling to ruin the night with paranoia. Now, as first responders rushed to the scene, that sedan was already gone, vanished into the storm. Someone wanted to scare them. Someone wanted them silent. The news spread through Salem like wildfire. 2 women. Christmas Eve. One dead, one fighting for her life. Rachel was pronounced dead at the scene. Sophia was rushed to the hospital, unconscious, her condition critical. Melina stood outside the operating room, hands clasped together, her earlier dread now a crushing certainty. Kayla worked tirelessly inside, refusing to let herself think about the empty seat at future family gatherings, the laughter that would never return. At midnight, church bells rang. No one celebrated. Sophia woke hours later to the sound of machines beeping softly, the room bathed in pale light. Pain anchored her to the bed, but it was nothing compared to the hollow ache in her chest. Rachel was gone. The truth settled over her like a suffocating blanket. She remembered the headlights. The way the other car had sped up, not slowed down. The sudden, deliberate swerve. This wasn't an accident. And she was the only one who knew it. As dawn broke over Salem, snow covering the wreckage like a shroud, Sophia closed her eyes and made a silent vow. She would remember everything. She would tell the truth, no matter who it destroyed. In the days that followed, Salem mourned. A memorial appeared in the town square, flowers, candles, handwritten notes tucked beneath the Christmas tree that now felt like a cruel joke. Rachel's name was spoken in hushed tones. Sophia's condition dominated conversations. But beneath the grief, tension simmered. Steve noticed inconsistencies in the police report. EJ deflected questions a little too smoothly. Someone had tampered with traffic cameras near the crash site, an unfortunate technical failure. Coincidences piled up until they became impossible to ignore. When Sophia finally asked to speak to Steve, her voice barely above a whisper, he listened. And what she told him changed everything. Sophia remembered the sedan. The way it had followed them from the mansion. The moment it accelerated, forcing them off the road. This wasn't weather, she said, tears streaming down her face. Someone did this. Someone wanted us gone. Steve's jaw tightened. The truth hit Salem like a thunderclap. This wasn't a tragic accident. It was attempted murder. Rachel was collateral damage. And now, the clock was ticking. Because whoever orchestrated that crash had failed to silence Sophia. And in Salem, secrets never stay buried for long.